Oi, a lot of bags here. How's it?
Welcome, welcome.
All good?
Yeah, sure. We can.
I think. I can imagine it. Oh, perfect.
Let's see you.
Yeah.
How was the journey this morning?
Pretty smooth, actually. Yeah. It was a bit of a sleepless night, though.
I guess the most important thing about Gozo is Lidl.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so I thought we should start with Lidl, if that's fine for you.
Yes, absolutely. There cannot be anything more important.
I mean, you haven't seen Lidl ever, right? We travel all the world.
Gozo, anyway.
Here we are.
So, Linus, tell us a little bit about why you brought us here.
It's a special place here on Gozo. It's abandoned, I think it was like a restaurant or a place you could rent for having a party or something. I find it interesting with, well, you have the lizards running around. With the combination of the scenery, you have the Ramla Bay beach down here. And this abandoned, looks like almost like a hotel or something. It's a bit tragic that such a beautiful place is not being used for anything. It's just abandoned. Yeah, but it has really got some potential, I think. You're going to see the views from some of the windows and these like arches. That's, I mean, you can't find this spot anywhere else on Gozo, more or less. I think it's the only like sand beach you can find on Gozo. So it's very popular in high season.
So, last time we interviewed, I think it was 2017.
Yeah, probably.
When I visited you down in the hot mountain.
Yeah, that's before everything, kind of. Before everything happened. I met the guy who was renting this facility before me. I met him, and at some point during the conversation he mentioned like this equipment was going to this mountain, and it sounded like, wow, a mountain, I have to go and see that. So I asked if I could go and help him to connect the devices and get it going. Yeah, well, that was a crazy time. At that time we had more or less, that's the time when we had most activity in the company, in Dunkers IT. We had the hosting of the Nova Exchange, the cryptocurrency exchange. We had a support for them as well, development for them as well. We also had mining facility. At that time I think we had 3 out of the 4 facilities running. We had at most 4 facilities, all of them close to Köping in Sweden. And yeah, 2017 and 2018, beginning of 2018 was a good time for Dunkers IT, just before everything went south. Yeah, so Nova Exchange was, I would say, the first Swedish developed crypto exchange, but it was actually run by a Tanzanian company, Nova Technology Limited. That was a company that was providing the service, and we provided the hosting and support. So it was my good friend Thomas in Tanzania, who I've been working with for many years, who owns that company and was running this exchange. And well, it was a crazy time. We had, I think, at most 350 wallets running at the same time for different altcoins, currencies. So it was really, and it was crazy time also when it comes to registrations. We had thousands of people registering every day. So when we decided that we can't go on with this, we have to sell it or get rid of it or shut it down, because it was getting too large for us. We had about 200,000 users at that time, and roughly like 2,000 users, concurrent users working on the servers. I mean, trading on the cryptocurrency exchange. So it was around that time we decided we can't scale up or expand in the way we would need. So we decided to sell Nova Exchange and leave that behind and continue with the mining facilities instead. It was early 2018, I think, that the transition happened. So it was not that long time, maybe a year or 1.5, that we were involved with Nova Exchange. And before that, I helped some friends with some mining pools. So we have been both involved in some mining pools before that, and then Nova Exchange. And then we switched to pure mining facilities, where we rented out our hash rate to still the same company in Tanzania then.
Okay, and were you approached to sell Nova, or was that a decision by your team?
Actually, we first decided to shut down, and then somewhere on the way we decided let's see if anyone has an interest of continue running it in some way. So we decided first to shut down, and later on we started having meetings or discussing with different companies, Swedish companies, about selling the business. So the main issue with mining in Sweden at that point, well, still today actually, is that to make it profitable, you actually need to get both the VAT and the energy taxes back. I mean, if you have to pay that, then it won't be profitable. That's what happened in I think it was 2018, when they did an audit of Tankers IT. They had already approved the VAT twice. Once in the audit they did 2017, and once a specific audit for 1 month of the VAT. So they had already approved it twice, but this time when they did the audit, they said that no, you own the hardware. The hardware produces crypto, and therefore you are running a financial service. And as a financial service, you are not allowed to deduct the VAT. So they required us to pay back all the VAT from the beginning, since we registered the company. So that was a total, there was no other way than bankruptcy at that point.
Why do you suppose they didn't pick up the same conclusions in the first two audits?
Well, because it makes absolutely no sense, and from a technical standpoint, it's wrong. I mean, it's technically wrong. You can't produce cryptocurrency with this hardware. It's only in combination with some kind of mining pool, or if you do some solo mining with your own servers or wallets, then you can, in those servers, produce crypto with the help of this, well, computational power. But the computational power itself can really not produce anything. So it's not, our company is not the only one who this happened to. There are several other companies in Sweden who has been, through bankruptcy because of the same reason.
Does that include KNC Miner?
Not KNC Miner. They decided to declare bankruptcy themselves for several reasons, I guess. One, probably that they had a class action lawsuit against them. So I think it was more like a strategic move from their side. But there are other companies, for example, one that bought mining equipment from KNC Miner that has gone through a very similar process of trying to motivate that crypto can't be created just using this kind of hardware. It's simply not possible. You can do the same calculation using a paper and a pen, if we're talking about Bitcoin, for example. The SHA-256 calculation you can do yourself. If you're fairly good at math, you can put it on a piece of paper and do the calculation by hand with just a pen. So, I mean, saying that these machines produce money, it's like saying that a modern toaster produces money or a coffee maker. I mean, you can make this kind of calculation in your phone, in your computer, in your Tamagotchi, in anything, you know. So it's ridiculous trying to say that, well, this hardware is so fast, so you are running a financial service. But this other computer that is slow, well, it's so slow, so it's not running financial service. It makes no sense. And yeah, it's...
But that was 2018 that they came to that conclusion.
Yeah, it should have been somewhere 2018. The decision came probably 2019, because that's when we decided to declare bankruptcy. And actually the bankruptcy was because of the energy taxes, the other part of it. So VAT is about, if you're a financial service, you don't have, you cannot deduct the VAT. The other part is the energy taxes. And now there is a ruling in the High Administrative Court, I think it's called, that concludes that data centers running mining equipment has the right to get the deduction of energy taxes. So now it's decided by a High Administrative Court. But at that time it was still unclear, and they tried every month to, you know, cause problems, asking for more documents and proof for one thing after another. And what happened is that we simply did not get paid for several months at a time. We always got paid at some point, because I was fighting and fighting and fighting to get the money we had the right to get. But during that time, in the end of 2019, there were so many months we didn't get paid from the government, these energy taxes. So we simply couldn't pay electricity anymore. We were waiting for so much money that we had to declare bankruptcy, because we couldn't pay our landlord and our electrical company to the bills. So both of them, these topics, has been a big issue in mining in Sweden, energy taxes and VAT. And finally, now there is a ruling, as I mentioned, about the energy taxes. But there is still a bit of a problem that to get the energy taxes, you have to own the hardware. Otherwise, you are not allowed to ask for the deduction of VAT. For energy taxes. But if you own the hardware, they can at any point of time do the same as they did with my company at that time, claim that, well, this hardware is producing money and you are owning it, so therefore you are running a financial service and you have to pay back all the VAT. So it's either one or the other. If you do claim to get the energy taxes, then you have the risk of having to pay back all the VAT. Or if you do claim that you want to have the VAT back, then you have the risk of having to pay back all the energy taxes. So it's really difficult in Sweden to make mining profitable, because in order to get profitable, you really need both of them. You are not, you're not going to make a profit getting only one of them back.
In your mind, what would have been fair from a tax perspective at that time?
Well, it's the same as now, allowing business of that kind to run properly in Sweden, to have them work as any other data center. There's no difference. I mean, if you buy this type of server or this type of server, why should one be handled in a way that makes you go bankrupt and the other one is absolutely fine? Facebook is fine, Amazon is fine, but KNC or any of the other companies related to cryptocurrencies or mining, they are I mean, more or less banned. It makes no sense because while we were operating optimal, we had like 12 employees and paid roughly 1.2, 1.3 million of crowns, Swedish crowns every year in taxes. So we created job opportunity for 12 people and we paid roughly between 1 and 1.5 million in taxes every year. And since the day they decided not to pay out energy taxes, forcing us to go bankrupt, there hasn't been a single Swedish crown paid for taxes because we don't have any business, we don't make any profit, we can't pay any taxes. And all our employees we had to let go. So I mean, the only thing they've efficiently done is to shut down a company that put at least 12 people to work and paid a lot of taxes every year. So this is not in the best interest of Sweden or the taxpayers or the government or anyone. It's just a war on crypto. It has nothing to do with generating more income to the government, not whatsoever. And neither does the crazy taxation that I've had to pay myself privately because of my trading. It's the same story there. It didn't end up with money going to the state, money going to taxes. The opposite. I have less opportunities now to pay taxes because I can't own a company, I can't start a company, I can't be a board member of a company. So all the companies I've started throughout the years, since the tax department in Sweden decided to pick this fight and start taxing, added taxation as if we were running a company instead of capital gain. The only thing it has resulted in is that I can't create companies that pay taxes. Myself, I can't pay taxes in the same way as I could when I was running a company and could pick out quite a good salary. So, I mean, it just made it worse for everyone, especially, of course, for me and my family, but also for Sweden in general, and not only me, of course, but the rest of the companies and people that also been in either bankruptcy or personal bankruptcy. They stop contributing to society. It's not that it's gonna make them feel more eager to pay taxes when they just been fucked by the government. It's only negative. There's nothing positive in this. I guess the tax department themselves are celebrating that they won the case, but for what, I don't know. I mean, what did they actually win? Nothing. They just lost one citizen, or at least one resident. And I'm one of many that have decided to leave Sweden for Portugal, for Malta, for Dubai, and many other countries. Almost any country is better than Sweden when it comes to crypto.